Went to a podcast encounter group this week.
Yeah.
The weekend?
Yeah.
When would I have gone?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's a strong premise.
Oh, no. It was duos. It was a duos
Workshop?
workshop.
Okay.
Yeah, not necessarily all podcast partners. There were Shields and Yarnell were there.
There was, good.
Are you proud of me for coming up with something like that?
Sure.
And we just talked about stuff. Talked about, what bothers us.
Right.
What sticks in our craw. I don't know. Is this a Leno routine now?
Did you bring a rag doll in my stead?
You mean like this is talk to Josh?
This is the good response. This is the bad response.
What do you mean? Like, am I talking to you, or am I using you as a facilitator?
It was a good touch, bad touch thing is what I was going for.
That thing it really bothers me because I'm worried I might have been touched. Okay, look, everybody. Look, let's not get that heavy into it. There's no reason to go 0 to
0 to childhood abuse.
All I'm saying is I can't remember anything from age 0 to 9. Is that bad?
Right.
I'm just going to read Roseanne's old version of what she said. Remember when Roseanne struck out against her family, kind of? But why am I doing this? This is like
uncovered memories is what she had, right?
Yeah, and this is not about uncovered memories. Because what I'm saying is when I uncover mine, they're real. You can take mine to the bank. I'm going to be like the Beretta of uncovered memories.
Right.
Yeah. I was 2 years old. Why would I would recall these things Beretta style. Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 2. That's the name of that age.
Yeah. She was a doll. She was a dame. She was my mother. She was also my lover. I don't care what people say now.
You can put that in your bubble pipe and smoke it.
Oh.
Or bubble it.
By the way, let me tell you something. Bubble hash. I highly recommend bubble hash.
That's the few times you've recommended that.
Bubble
I'll have
hash.
to try it.
And the only reason why I say it is because I'm out.
Right. I gotcha. What is bubble hash? What makes it different from other hash?
Okay. Well, here's the thing I realize. I'm very bad at keeping in information, and I've never understood anything completely.
Okay.
So I still am not completely sure what hash is. But apparently, hash is the step before the bubble hash. The hash is like, they go, he said to me, with the hash, they just shovel in, and I didn't say, no, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you mean.
Right.
So it's like the hash looks more like hash that I would have when I was a kid,
Right, like the resiny.
Right, and this looks more like it's whipped up little pebbles.
Okay.
Yeah, and I sprinkle them. I don't do this, but my character does or something.
Yeah.
I sprinkle them on top of my sativa.
Okay, nice.
I almost bought lamb's breath.
Lamb's breath or bread?
Oh, you see? I thought it was lamb's breath, which is a terrible name.
Yeah.
So thinking I got I was having what you're smoking, I got San Francisco Dragon, something Dragon.
Okay, yeah.
It's not what you had at all. Dragon's breath.
No, it's SF Dragon, I think.
What's SF mean?
I think San Francisco.
And we'll be back with more pot talk. You know what would be terrible?
But I think that's one of their that's their strain.
I like that.
Yeah, at that store.
Well,
it made me anxious actually. That strain.
It did?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me before I go down there? If you're anxious, what do you think it's going to do to me?
I don't
know why I'm so pumped
right.
up.
I said I like lamb's bread last week, and now you're mad at me because you bought San Francisco Dragon's bread.
I'm not mad at you. I'm podcast mad at you.
I understand. I'm podcast defending myself.
I went to a podcast retreat and we learned certain things. We did we did boxing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, shadow boxing.
Shadow boxing, yeah.
What is that from?
It's Shadow Dancing by Andy Gibb.
I'm very, very embarrassed to say that I am a big fan of George Clinton. George, is that what it is?
Where did that come from?
Okay, because I thought their song, We've Got the Funk,
yeah,
which I love, I hadn't heard it till disco came out.
Yeah.
And all of these years until about a week ago on Music Choice R&B Soul on my TV, did I realize it wasn't We've Got the Bump.
Really?
I thought it was We've got the bump, bum, 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 do the bump. That's why I never could understand why I liked the song.
Right.
Because, and the confusion is not unusual because that music kind of led into disco music.
Sure.
But it's just no excuse.
No. No, there's really not.
So now I have a vast musical knowledge since I've stopped. Forget about the Spotify. Goodbye, Pandora. Hello, Music Choice, my cable.
Yeah.
That's it.
There you go. You're set.
I learned. Did you know that Phil Ramone was blah, blah, blah? I learned like 5 or 6 of those things. Did you know that Paul Simon was named Art Garfunkel before he was Paul Simon?
These little factoids.
Factoid. Okay. And it comes up. And for me, it comes up perfectly because I'm usually high, like we all know.
Sure, if you're
now
staring
I'm high.
at music TV, you're kind of likely to be high.
Yeah, I'm staring at it.
Oh, the pictures. There's too much There's too much movement.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm
There's
saying
too much movement for me.
No.
Let me watch some radio.
What I say is, how did I end up this way? Watching this garbage. Not garbage even.
Yeah.
The music's good. But the fact that I have to see the facts about the group.
Right. It's like you're waiting for a movie to start at home.
The problem? When did we get into this? I've heard that blind people don't feel this way. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-bum. Wink. I don't know if that was a slam on blind people.
I don't know what the hell's happening.
Bicky B. I would like to end all of my bits now with buko-da-ba-da-bink.
Tomato.
I still miss doing our stings for the holiday show.
Well, there's always next holiday. God willing.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story before you dominate the podcast like you always do.
Right.
I made a left out of my building. And please don't say what street it's on, but it rhymes with Dane or Maine. I don't know. I was trying to, what would it be like a version of that joke where but the initials were TWA. That's what I'm looking for, one of those jokes. I won't say the name of the street, but it rhymes with...
But it rhymes with Morty Murd Street.
We should tape our show just so people could see you wind up on that joke. I couldn't even believe it. I've never seen you so animated, except on your wedding night. Why was I in your bedroom on your wedding night?
I don't know. It was really annoying.
See?
Banana.
So I make a left onto the street, and I realize that I can see headlights, right?
I've turned into the wrong lane.
No, I can see headlights when they're coming.
Yeah.
But here's an OCD thing. You know what I can't see? What I can't see. It's the same way that guy, when he was on the OJ trial, he couldn't say that the fact that what did he say? He saw a thing there, and then he didn't see the van there or something. Well, how does the story go?
I have no fucking idea.
Okay, the guy who picked up OJ.
Is there a story besides you turning left?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so forget about OJ. You're the one who said bring OJ into it. It's topical. I can't see what I can't see. Like, in other words, I couldn't see somebody who had their lights off.
Right.
And so then I feel...
So you got afraid of driving? Is that
No, I did for a second because I realized I'm looking and I can't see that well. I couldn't see that well if something that wasn't lit was coming at me.
Yeah.
That's my fault. That's how OCD works.
Okay.
And it just makes you generally...
So your fear was that a car without headlights on would be coming down the street and you would hit it because you couldn't see it?
And would he see me?
If you had your headlights on.
Oh, I don't drive with my headlights
on.
on.
Well, then there you
go.
No,
I'm different. My mom, it's just like when I went to summer camp and I was the clothes that didn't have the name sewn in. This is a joke right out of Mad Magazine.
OCD stands for out of control driving.
I swear to God, I could be happy doing just that kind of humor. I have OCD, folks, and you know what that means? Out of control, duh. You know, it couldn't be easier to form names out of initials. There's no way you can't do it. Only come...
Yep, nailed it.
Down. Why am I participating in this? This is what I didn't want to do.
You're not participating. You're instigating.
So anyway, I realized that because I do worry. I worry about everything, but not that much anymore, like I used to. But I always worry if I have night. I wonder if I have night vision just from getting older. Now I know you're the type of guy who's going to say, "Are you kidding me? I have better vision now when I drive at night than I ever did."
I'm going to turn into some sort of douchey Seinfeld.
I'm poking a fire. Oh, hello out there. Oh, au contraire. How many times have you said "au contraire" to me?
I got nothing.
I got nothing either.
Yeah. So you're afraid to drive at night is really what you're saying.
No.
Yeah, you're kind of saying that.
No, the only thing serious I would say out of this whole discussion is that, say I'm walking down the street, like I was thinking about walking down the street. Why was I scared to walk home? And then at night, what's wrong with me is what I was saying. But then I realized it's so dark.
Yeah.
I really can't see that well.
Okay.
Right? So that's also a factor, and I'm a coward. But that's the thing is like when I get a little like if I'm high, say, and I'm walking in the dark,
yeah,
I can start to mix up senses. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do you think I'm saying something real?
What's that smell I just heard?
I'm not saying synesthesia. Yeah, I'm not saying synesthesia. I just, you know why I just said?
Geez, be quiet. I can see you, okay?
I was thinking of a taste.
I taste your pain, Andy.
I know about synesthesia because I read about it again in the New Yorker. I learn words every week when I read the New Yorker. And now that could mean that I'm just not that bright, or the New Yorker's got good words.
It's got some of the best words.
Aphorism. I don't know what that is. You probably do know what it is.
Don't quiz me on words.
It's an aphorism.
Yeah. An analogous saying. I'll go for aphorism.
I took from the context that it was kind of a attaching meaning to a trite saying or something. It was all about Martin Amis and his...
It's a pithy observation that contains a general truth, such as, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Okay, so I think in the negative way, it's like this guy, Martin Amis, he writes reviews of other authors. I didn't realize all this reviewing was happening outside of, who's the famous, Pauline Kael or something like that. I mean, the writers writing reviews of other people's books is my favorite thing in the world in the New Yorker. I can't get enough of it.
It makes you feel like you read a book.
It makes me feel like, well, I know I'm not going to read most books.
Right. But you can become conversant about a book.
Yeah, and they also talk about the biography
and
of the person.
have a bowel movement at the same time.
Oh, that's where we part company. And I think it's good that we do part company in the bathroom.
Frankly, yes.
So he was describing somebody else's writing that it was like a aphorism in a bad way.
Yeah.
Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sounds too
trite.
And speaking about that, Josh, I have decided that Twitter, I don't know if it's a software program or if it's intent, but people on Twitter know exactly, no matter how sophisticated you think you are, they know how to hurt your feelings. I don't know if it's a robot.
Yeah.
You know how someone got me the other night?
It's a Russian hurt bot. How did somebody get you the other night?
Well, I don't even know what I tweeted. I thought it was funny at the time.
All right.
And the person said, he did. I said to the guy, oh, yeah, you nailed. I did a sarcastic reply. Oh, yeah, you nailed me. And this guy came back and goes, he did nail you because what you said was so cringingly trite.
Ooh.
That hurt. That was like, I don't care if Hitler said that to me. I would take it. Well, I don't like Hitler, but he's right about that.
Right.
And then it's like, I realize there's nothing you can tweet that will not have been, not that it will not have been already tweeted, but you start going down that road, there'd be no reason to ever tweet anything. Because everybody is saying the same thing or something. Am I making any sense? No.
Well, I don't know. What your conclusion means, you shouldn't worry. You should just tweet?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not that. Because I have a built-in, with OCD, I have a built-in worry about, hey, did I hear that before? So
right.
I've had that my whole life. Did I hear that before? Did I come up with that? So, but it makes me. But I don't want Twitter to be something that I'm fine with. That it's okay to think about it, but I'm not fine that they all have to be gems. And you know what I mean? Like that you get into this mode. I know it's my own fault, but I get into this mode where I actually buy the feedback immediately. Like I'll buy the feedback. Yeah, of course. How could that not be cringingly trite?
Right. Well,
what can you do, right?
Twitter's not a healthy thing for you.
It's not a healthy thing at all.
No.
But the thing about it is, I think it's a major victory when I don't respond to a Russian bot.
I think so too.
Although I now
or a victory, let's say. I don't know, major victory.
I think I told you this before. I know I was arguing with bots before the election.
Yeah,
like WikiLeaks bots, and you could tell the English. If I had to speak 12 phrases in type 12 phrases in Russian in the what do you call it? An idiom when you're in the slang or whatever.
Right.
I would slip up the first one.
Right.
English is a hard language to get all those things.
If broke, not fix it.
Is that now?
That was an aphorism in Russian.
If broke, I thought that sounds very suspiciously like Yakov Smirnoff.
Well, he was Russian, so there's some crossover in the impression.
I thought. Here's my new delivery. I thought the connection was implied. That's the comic was obnoxious. I don't know who it is. I'm getting very nervous now. My lips are dry. But I want to tell people, a lot of people say, what's it like in between podcasts with you and Josh? How do you communicate? Like, it's always loving, and sometimes it'll be like this last week, Josh said, no more drinks with ice. And then I immediately...
There was a text.
I immediately flashed. Well, how else would you communicate with it? Yeah, I hear it in my head. That'd be good. And then I immediately remembered nursing. When you have something you can nurse,
right.
You nurse it.
Yeah, like ice in a metal, a metal cup. Yes. Yeah.
Ice in a metal cup. That's true, too.
Yeah, it was great.
It's a metal thermos.
It was like having a herd of cows with bells.
I just realized I don't know what that would sound like.
It sounds like you drinking coffee on a microphone.
How about a cow drinking coffee?
You saved it.
I did. That's what Trump does. He adds the language if you mess
and
up.
a thing. Yeah.
And a thing.
Right.
Whether it's tomorrow or tomorrow.
Tomorrow. He's often
a bad example of it. So, how's your
We
week?
need a better tomato and tomorrow.
That's right. Who but a moron, and I don't like to use the word moron, but I have more recently had to use the word with him.
This actually, Allison had a run-in today with somebody.
Online?
No, in real life.
What happened?
She went to CVS, I think, pulls into a spot next to this Escalade, which is sort of it's like not in a space even. And it's partially in a handicapped, apparently. And
the setup is good.
Yeah. So she comes out, and this guy, she gets out of her car, and this guy coming up to her. You just hit my car. She's like, no, I didn't. You did, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, shows him, no, clearly I didn't. Look at the space, but in fact, you're in a handicap spot, and blah, blah, blah. And he just apparently looked at her and just went, "You're a fucking moron."
Oh my God.
And Allison just looked at him and started to tear up. And he just went, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm having a terrible day. I apologize."
Such a great ending. Oh my God. Well, that shows that guy is someone who's not on Twitter because he has the ability to apologize for his behavior.
Right.
That's something you don't see on Twitter.
But Allison came home really shaken by it. I'm like, this is a good story, though.
Did
you have
say
to.
Huh? Would you say this to you?
Yes.
It's not my favorite.
Why are you
It's not my favorite pharmacy over there. I don't want people coming up and asking for autographs. Or I don't want them coming up and not asking for autographs.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Well, that's scary to me. But it is amazing, though.
She said there were other people watching, so she didn't feel threatened, really. She didn't feel unsafe, but she was...
Did anybody else comment afterwards? I mean...
I don't know.
Did any producers come up to her or any Hollywood types?
Right.
Because I think that would make a...
Can you sign this release? We just got that.
I think it would make a good show. Good show.
But I was like, no, I think that's that response, because I think she felt bad about crying. I think, embarrassed by that. I'm like, that's the only way you could have injected humanity into that situation. If you would have snapped back at him, he would have snapped back at you. You would have had your day ruined, and he would have forgotten about it in 5 minutes, because that's how he acts,
Well, the thing about it is that what she did was she had a reaction that was a normal reaction.
Right.
She really felt terrible. And it's a more normal reaction than to just start cursing back at him.
Right.
You know what I mean? In that moment.
Absolutely, no.
So I think that's great. I'm not saying I need to make it into a movie, but I'd like to take the idea. I want to do one of those based on an idea things.
Right, okay. Just kick me back a little, and then I'll kick it back to Allison.
And is she meeting with that guy to go over any projects or to talk further about their emotional breakthrough? You give me that look sometimes. I don't know where you're going to go with the look. I always think you're going to stab me in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But you're doing a thing now in the podcast. It's very tricky. Okay. You're hiding your mouth more behind the microphone. So I don't know what's going on in there. I don't know. And then you apply lipstick. I don't know what's happening. Why do you apply constant chapstick during the show? Come on, Josh, play with me.
No, I don't
play
want
with
to.
me. I'm obviously an obnoxious person who's got a lot of needs.
I don't want a yes and asshole behavior.
I know, but why can't you meet me Isn't improv at least you meet me halfway?
Okay, Mr. Weinstein.
You should never bring that up to me again.
Mr. Weinstein, please come in. Oh, good morning, Mr. Weinstein. Do you have the results of your experiment?
What is it your job is, and what is my job in this company?
It doesn't matter, because you never get past...
Mr. Weinstein, please come in here, please. How long have you been working here at the Kindler Detective Agency?
Seemingly forever, sir.
Yeah, and you don't know...
Oh, God, I'm so bored already. I can never write anything. You can't get to
a second fucking line.
Well, two things happen. I get bored, and then I don't like doing a bad accent forever, but I'm not willing to take the time to make it into a good accent.
Hello. Why can't a woman be more like a man?
That's from My Fair Lady.
How have you done? What'd you do this week? How about that?
Well, wait a second. You say that as if it's been a failure so far. I think this might be the greatest.
It's a dead end so far.
No.
I think it was
it's been
chapter
pleasant.
1.
It's been pleasant, but there's been nothing going on. Except I was getting more and more into a behavior of prodding you somehow.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, because I heard that was good at the retreat. Fake fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, like get the calls going. All right, what did I do this last week? I feel like I did the particular show.
Oh yeah?
At Meltdown, and Zach Galifianakis was a surprise guest.
Wow, did you call him Josh?
Did I just call him Josh?
Did you? I'm asking. You call me fucking Zach once a month.
Which one is which? Is he Zach or are you Zach?
Doesn't matter.
Do you know how many Zachs I know? It's not surprising I would call you Zach. Because the guy who does the sound is Zach, my manager is Zach, and you're Zach. You see that coming? The third one. You knew the third one was the joke.
Yeah.
So it was a really fun show at the, also on the show was, who else was on the show? Sam J, who's great.
Yeah.
And this guy, Stephen Castillo, who does absolutely my favorite routine. And I know I'm guilty of hyperbole. He does a whole thing. I'm going to give away his joke.
Okay, I'm sure.
But he says, he writes for Saturday Night Live. He says, I'd like to do my impression of the forward moonwalk. The forward moonwalk, I got into comedy because Michael Jackson was my hero, and I idolized him, and that's why I wanted to perform. He never he died before he was able to do the forward moonwalk in concert. He did it. He practiced it on this one tape that came out. I like it. And so then what he does is he starts walking forward. And then when you see that there's no trick to it, he just gets extremely upset with the crowd.
Commitment bit. You gotta like
I just
a good
think it's
commitment
so
bit.
funny because you should know before he does the forward moonwalk that there's no way it can be impressive.
Right.
You should know that in your head. You probably do. Or you weren't even thinking of it. What were you thinking of when I launched into that joke?
When you said forward moonwalk, I was thinking that's walking.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting though. You maybe can't appreciate certain jokes because you've seen the punchline before the joke.
I think there's a whole lot of jokes I can't appreciate because of that. Yeah.
You can't or can?
Can't.
I know.
Because I'm working along.
I know that's
But I guess that's
you
my
can't shut it
that's
off.
my pleasure though too.
That's
You know?
true. That's true.
That's how my brain works.
You don't get up and approach the screen during a Marx Brothers movie and swordfish it up, do you?
Swordfish?
What do you think
What does
What do you
that
think in
mean?
my mind what this bit would have been?
I don't know what does swordfish mean.
Oh, that's the code word. And what's the password? It's one of the Marx Brothers movies.
Oh, okay.
Code swordfish.
Okay.
I like that. That second okay was the okay before the okay, which is please do not reproduce the Marx Brothers.
No, I think the second one
Stop
was,
in general.
No, at least it was justified in some way. It was comfort going
I don't
that,
have to
that you
define-
didn't have like an aneurysm, just go swordfish. That it was actually sourced.
Oh, because you think I'm insane?
Well,
Why would that be a signal of being insane? So that's what I did last weekend. I'm still working. I don't even want to talk to you about it, but I'm still working on my taxes. And I'm still working on...
when you say you're working on your taxes,
what do I see out there? Something blowing on the porch? Okay. That's outside, right?
Yes, that's
All
outside.
right. But it looked very scary to me. Is there a blanket on a thing out there? Yes. I never took recollections class.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of times, like, I don't know if I'm looking that under some scenarios that could be an indoor chair reflected, right?
Yes.
You may give me a look that you tried to gaslight me there. You have a whole situation out there. How come you never invite me to sit out on the patio?
I invite you to go out there right now.
Now, so that was one part of my week, and the taxes, and
So when you say you worked on your taxes, you're still working on your tax. Like, how big of bites are you taking here, Andy?
okay, I will say that there's two things. There's one explanation. There's no excuse for anything I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, when you compare it to the way someone who had to work in a coal mine and what I consider like stuff I want to avoid.
All right.
But the other thing is that the only way out of my mess is to just keep working all day long at badly doing things.
Okay.
That's what I did today. Walked around the house badly doing things for 6 hours.
Well, you made a day of it at least.
That's why it's so boring. It's so boring now. I thought when I had OCD when I first had it, it was very exciting to me.
Right.
OCD and therapy. I thought every week of our podcast would be a Woody Allen movie.
Yeah. Well, it's like a recent movie.
I know what you're saying. No, I didn't mean it like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So, but I understand you can't go back to the same well. But I get so many requests for therapy materials. How was your week? What'd you do?
My week was okay. I didn't. It's one of those make lots of phone calls and lots of email weeks and never feel like you got anything really done. But I did all my shit that I could do. And
you're getting closer on the movie, right?
Yes and no.
Well, see, but not for my reasoning of just not doing it, right?
No, I mean I had a legitimate
beef.
Big,
not beef.
Big fucking problem.
You're trying to clear. You don't have to say the name of the song.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with music. It has to do with the distributor maybe about to be going under and me having to look for a different one.
I can't even believe this. What is the deal with these and the distributors? I would never want to go into that field because you know why? I don't even know what that field is.
Yes.
Distributing.
Well, there's taxes involved. First of all.
Yeah, but if I had a distributorship, which is what I would call it,
yeah,
I'd have people working for me.
Right.
This is what is it? A creakathon? Do you ever worry that your upstairs floorboards might be what's the word? I don't know. Here's what the thing is. I know I'm obnoxious.
Yeah.
I get that
You
from...
really are.
I know I am.
Yeah.
I get it from my wife a lot.
Yeah.
The same look you're giving me. Okay. So I know it's not me. I mean, no, it's not you or my wife. Well, I'm trying to find a way into something interesting.
Right.
And I'm...
But how could that happen from you
Because you would say...
noticing
No, my
things?
wife actually is a creek specialist.
Yeah. No, okay. That would have saved it.
CREAK.
Yeah. Right. That's the correct one.
Okay, well, you're making good points, but in my defense, what can I say? Why do I have to defend myself? There's no defense. I see something with you now that we are constantly at war. Well, let's make a philosophy like Scientology.
You have no idea how much concentration it takes to fucking follow you along. That's what my face is. It goes from concentration to expression. But between expressions, it's just listening. It's just going, what the fuck is he talking about?
Wait a second.
Where are we going?
This sounds like Alan and Rossi having an argument about their act.
Yeah.
By the way, Marty Allen died.
I know.
He was 95, I think.
Something like that.
Hello there.
Yeah.
And that's about as far as we're going to go with
last week's show, we talked about him dying.
You know, I think you're turning into like one of those mean chefs. Who's that guy? Who's the British guy? Kitchen Nightmares. You're doing a podcast Nightmares.
What the fuck is his name?
What are you doing, Andy? Why don't you get increasingly mean towards me?
Okay.
What do you think you're doing with your rhetorical... Well, I don't know why you have an accent now. What do you think you're doing? I'm good now. Now I'm totally good. I still have nothing.
Right. So what did you get any sleep this week?
I'm still waiting to hear. I'm not getting
How much
sleep.
data are they do they
I
have
think
to
that,
mine?
well,
from
this
you?
is, I don't know, maybe I just haven't checked my machine. You know, I could look at my machine right now. Well, it's not a machine. And I could see if I've missed someone trying to call me. But I don't see the number. Oh, my God.
Mr. Kindler, this is Janet from the Sleep Center. Hopefully you aren't getting this because you're asleep right now.
Mr. Kindler. No, I haven't heard from them since I did the second study.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. How complicated could my case be?
Yeah, I guess you just didn't get the part.
As the sleeper?
I mean, it's good you got a call back, but...
Well, I am sleeping exactly, I think if I had to analyze it, I sleep like 4 hours. And then I get up like a light. And then I've been using vape.
Yeah.
And that's worked to get me back asleep.
That's good.
But I think there's something wrong with my sleep. So it's just a matter of what CPAP machine is in my future.
Right.
And you know, thousands of years from now, they will laugh at the rudimentary, primitive style of our CPAP machines.
Our anti-snoring
Yeah, because then they will
technology.
only have to do, they'll have like a doctor, whatever that guy is, McCoy.
Yeah. You know, this wave
Yeah, something like that.
a septum re-eviator.
I'm not looking forward to the CPAP machine, but if it works, I'd be happy because I don't think I've gotten a good night's sleep since 1975.
Speaking of 1975, I just did you see Carson the other night with Foster Brooks?
Why wouldn't you call me to record
I
that?
almost did.
I can't believe that.
I figured you recorded every night.
How was it? Was it great?
It was Foster Brooks. What was interesting about it was
Was he on panel?
he did both.
Okay.
So he comes out, he introduces him. This is like his second time on. This is New Year's Day, 1975, I think.
So he must have had a big night, right?
Yeah. So he has him come out as the first time he had been on is when they first came out to Burbank, and they had him come on as someone from the Burbank City Council, basically. And they're doing the welcome to Burb, and people.
Oh, you mean before they knew he was a stand-up comic?
Yeah, and he wasn't a star. He had no national name at that point.
Right.
He got his national attention apparently from Carson.
That makes sense.
And so people actually thought he was a drunk. Like many people thought he was a drunk from the first appearance. So he comes out, like 3.5 years later or something. This is because that's how Johnny introduced him. And he comes on and does his drunk act, but then he goes to panel completely straight. So he did.
I can't even believe this.
It was really, really weird. It was, because his act is so slow. It's very slow. I tell very long jokes with a whole lot of setup, and you really have to sit there for a long time before I get to the punchline, and then it either works or it dies.
How would you describe the various techniques he uses to convey being drunk?
It's very, he wasn't there. I was trying to figure out a consistent, a normal pattern. And, it's really based on hiccups. Hiccups most of it. There's no, it's not all bleh, it's not all the letter bleh, it's not all the letter that comes before C.
Is it only a B that
because he actually said buffalo. He actually said buffalo.
No, but it was right outside Rochester.
without having a hitch in it. It was weird.
Oh, he did?
He did. He said, "My wife is from Buffalo," and woman in the audience cheered. It was, "Oh, I thought I got the last one. Wish I would have known I had an option."
Like the person clapping would sleep with him?
Yes, exactly.
Well,
but he said, first he was like, because they had Joan Embry on.
Oh,
and he made a joke about a gorilla. But then later.
It's always been.
But then, but it wasn't. Later in the set, it was gorilla. So it's really more about a rhythm. I figured out it was more about, I need one here. Rather than it is just certain words.
But drunk.
Like I sat on the curb.
But a lot of it is also, the joke is he's drunk, and that's why he's
drunk. And then when he went to panel, he talks in very.
I can't believe this.
It was, "Oh, Johnny, yes, the character is trying very hard." He's from Kentucky, so there's a little bit of Southern gentleman to it.
Did Johnny want any piece of the regular Foster Brooks?
Well, he came over. Oh, you sobered up. And then he does, and he's like, "So, how did you?" I'm trying to go back and forth. And I can't do it
between Johnny and the other guy.
But Foster is like, "Well, the drunk character is."
Oh, this is bad.
Yes,
this is bad.
He's doing everything in his power to try to conceal the fact that he's drunk.
Oh, Jesus! There's nothing funnier than an explanation of the character. You mean he thinks by saying
he was really very humorless and very actor pretentious-y almost on panel. It was really funny.
Is that the way Ernest would come out too after doing Ernest Goes to the Movies?
Yes.
Well, hello, Johnny.
Yes, Johnny. Ernest would never really say.
You know who did that a little bit? Was Carol O'Connor. A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Not like to a great degree, but he did let you know that he didn't talk that way.
Right.
Well, it's very interesting because he did a little bit of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Or I made it up.
It was always weird to see David Ogden Stiers without his accent.
Was he on MASH?
Yes.
And he was
Charles Emerson Winchester III.
It is,
gentlemen.
It is amazing that maybe not you, but I've seen every MASH 40 or 50 times.
What's amazing about MASH, I was watching it. It's funny how MASH is back on the air now. It's like on WGN and it's on Sundance, I think.
You're doing some of my old material now.
And am I?
Yeah, you can get MASH on DVD now, they say. But you can also get it on Channel 5, Channel 7, Channel 9.
Right, but it was gone. I mean, I don't mean to step on your old fucking bit.
No, please don't step on the bit.
But it was gone for years. You didn't see MASH for years, and now it's back in rotation. And then, but like if you watch it, it's like in light of the Time's Up movement, it's like Hawkeye is the fucking villain of the show now.
Oh, because he's so
yeah, because he's completely.
Hey, I like to stick my thing down your thing, huh?
Totally rapey. Yeah.
I hate this war, but you've got big tits, like that.
Yes, very much like that. Yes.
Whoa! I'd like to take my stethoscope. He wasn't that.
No,
dirty.
well, he kind of
was.
No, I mean, he wasn't quite as dirty as that, but he was totally.
There were a lot of.
He was consistently hitting on women.
I know, And there were a lot of characters there who just had to play being attracted to him.
Right.
I guess he wasn't that unattractive. I'm not saying he's unattractive, but I don't see him as sexy.
No.
Cut two, he's in Horace and Pete, and he's on a race. He does racist tirades because that's what Louis C.K. wrote for him to do.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell me you never saw one episode of Horace and Pete?
I never saw any episode.
I haven't either.
I didn't think you did because you would have had to buy it.
Because I'm Jewish?
Just because it would have taken the actual commitment to follow through on those steps.
God, you are really undermining me. I like undermining me. Yeah, but that was I don't know if it. Well, they didn't even want to do the laugh track, so everyone knows that.
Was there a laugh track on it?
On MASH, yeah.
Oh no, yeah. Sorry, we went to Horace and Pete for a second.
That would have been great. No, like Alan Alda is a prejudice guy, so he's constantly saying racist things.
Yeah.
And then Steve Buscemi, or Buscemi, it just stares at a shot glass for an hour.
Buscemi,
Bushubu, Bushaba. I still don't really get the Dan Quayle thing because did he put an E at the end of a single potato? What was the deal? He said it was on the card wrong. But if you pluralize tomatoes and potatoes,
you add an E, but this was with a singular potato, and he said,
"Oh, that's what it is."
You forgot the E,
right?
Yeah.
So you're saying he could have, even though it was on the card, he could have used his own mind.
I don't believe it was on the card. Why would someone give him a misspelled potato card?
Because people mess up. People make mistakes in all walks of life.
Right. And in this case, that person was Dan Quayle, thinking he knew how to spell potato better than a third grader.
He's a guy who was annoyingly bland. And mean-spirited.
Yeah, I thought more mean-spirited. I mean, he wasn't that much different than Mike Pence.
I think he was better than Pence. No, I don't know.
I don't know if he was. I think he was dumber than Pence, but less.
But that was quite a team.
Less creepy than Pence.
But that was quite a team. Bush Quayle.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm going to block out my whole past life.
When does that? Like, up to what point is your past life?
No. I think no. Well, there's two things. A constant fear. I don't have a fear of dementia. Because I'm going to fight it. That's the metaphor now for diseases. Shut up, cancer, out of my way. You ever see this? I'm not trying to purposely sabotage the show. But I do find that I'm starting to, it seems almost too surreal. Beyond even saying, oh, he's amazing material, Trump, and that, but I don't want material and the world to be blown up. But it gets more surreal every day. By next week, he could be gone.
Why?
Because he would resign.
Why do you think he would ever do that?
Because Mueller would have overwhelming, because we don't even know what he's done yet. The laundering.
Right.
I'm sure there's laundering. In fact, I'm convinced now there's everything. I'm sure there's a variety of sex tapes, although they've never produced one. So that makes you feel like maybe there is no sex tape.
Well, but it's the Russians who have
That's
it.
right.
Right. How would it benefit them at this point?
It's all blackmail now.
Right.
It's all blackmail. That's their Putin, contrary to what you've been saying, does not really care about. Oh, I got your dogs to bark the other day.
Huh?
I was walking past your house.
And they came and barked at the fence at you?
Friday. Yeah, I think it was like Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Saturday afternoon, 2:30. Is that when they're normally out in the back?
There's no routine to that.
I want to rob your house. How can I do that without?
Hey, we just had someone yesterday, of last week, try to break in next door. So that's not funny.
I was wondering if you were going to go there, but you did in such a good way. Very convincing. Okay, no, I don't mean anything. So fine.
Someone actually did though.
This way.
Yeah, that way.
And how did they get stopped?
I think he came home
While the guy was there?
or while they were breaking in the back. I think.
Oh, and they ran.
It was a text story from my neighbor, so I didn't get the full.
I got to get a system, an alarm. I want an alarm system. I want to see where everybody is right now.
Yeah.
Can you bring like a rig with you where you can see around your surroundings everywhere? Like I'm in here.
I
trust
like
you.
a heat sensor kind of thing.
Well, no, I kind of trust you here, but I'd like a lot of different. If I could get footage of your wife upstairs, I would have never left the house. I don't know what I'm turning into.
I don't either, really.
I'm not as bad as I was 10 minutes ago, right?
No, you're drifting back. You're drifting.
Well, but sometimes I think I'm saying something hilariously nonsensical. That's what my own defense is.
Okay.
But I think at some point you got to let it go. Right? If it's not working. See, my thing is if it's not broke, don't fix it. My thing is it's not ever really worked. So what's the point?
Well, there's something to that.
I just noticed that you didn't even really hear what I said. That's the first time in the whole podcast that you haven't heard something. And you cover for it better than me when I hear something.
No, I did hear you.
I know. I'm just trying to get you going.
All right.
I'm trying to get
Let's
you going.
Let's do questions because then we'll have topics.
Well, no, I you know.
Okay. You just scrambled your card like you just had some gold you forgot.
I do have one.
All right, let's do it, baby. Come on.
Everyone is giving up. Like Rick Gates.
Yeah.
This guy, Rick Gates.
Yeah, he's going to testify against Manafort.
Right. So my question is, how fast would you turn on me if we were partners and it would help you? How fast?
Well, it's hard to say because the first thing in my head would be, Andy's going to turn on me so fucking fast.
That's true. I'm just saying I would.
No, I know.
I've turned on you now.
Yeah. Oh, God, you turn on me like 6 times an hour.
I try to use you as an excuse for things that you probably shouldn't even be connected to.
Right. It's like you have a pet bus just to throw people under.
So that's what I worked on that.
You worked on that question?
Yeah. And then
how
the
long
other
would
thing
it take?
is, you know how they would go, are you Ginger? Are you Gilligan? Are you the Marianne? So I thought we should do a series of these. Am I Bernstein and you're Woodward? I would say yes if I wanted to insult you. Because Woodward is a jerk.
Right.
Bernstein's not that much better, really.
But he's also Robert Redford.
He is, but that's the problem. He really isn't. Robert Redford, I would be.
That's true.
Robert Redford.
He really isn't.
Yeah, he really isn't.
No.
But Robert Redford would be cool. If Woodward was like Robert Redford, I didn't know he was a Republican. I just thought he was a jerk.
Yeah.
But, okay, so that's...
Bernstein is aged better, for sure.
Yes. You mean like...
Yeah. As a person. Like, I don't cringe when I see Bernstein.
Oh, every other time I do. Everybody makes me cringe. Not really. Some great people on the air.
Luke Hawley wants to know, Andy has mentioned that he tried LSD. Was wondering if either of you have any good stories about tripping.
Oh, my God.
We've gone through some of them.
Have we?
Yeah, but...
okay, well, you want to go first?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so...
Did
I do the taking care of business one? My wife and... not my wife. My girlfriend at the time were so high when we were in Big Bear. And we were coming out of the woods. And we thought we heard Native American chanting.
Yeah.
And we said, oh, my God. And we were starting to get so high from it. And then as it approached us... It was Taking Care of Business on a truck radio.
By the Average White Band.
Which is
extra ironic that it wasn't Native American.
I have a lot of stories that involve me thinking I'm going to be arrested.
Right.
Or seeing a policeman.
What was the best conclusion you ever came away with from a trip?
Well, every trip I do feel unless it's horrible,
right?
Has a spiritual component to it. I would say I had this realization once that I thought it maybe might be the most profound of the ones I had, but not because of the subject matter, just because of what it was. I had a cold, a really bad cold.
Yeah.
And as I started to trip, I was able to separate from the cold, like completely.
Really?
Like I could.
Like you were outside the cold, or the cold was outside you?
The cold may have even been. The cold was.
I know that's a fine distinction, by the way.
The cold was there, but it wasn't affecting me.
Okay.
So
it's like being on stage, kind of.
Kind of like being on stage, but like I almost to the point where I could choose to be stuffed up or choose not to be stuffed up.
Yeah.
And then after I came down, I had a horrible cold. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like, I thought I had found a way to actually cure the cold.
Right. This is the greatest cold medicine ever.
But it did profoundly affect me in terms of like what you think is reality. You know, how you relate to reality is so much about how you think about it. So when I get sick, I get worried, oh, am I dying or whatever the thing is.
Right.
And that makes it worse than the actual cold.
Right.
So it was pretty, that's...
No, that was good.
That was a good one.
That was a real story.
But of course, I've said this before, the biggest, most intense one was my friend and I had the same exact, what's it called? Illusion?
Hallucination.
Hallucination, yeah. Where we thought that we'd opened doors to a theater, and then a minute later, we went back to, and the doors had never been open.
Pum, pum, pum.
How about you? You must have had some kind of...
I've never done acid. I did a combo of like mushrooms. Well, they were like a thing called the Scooby Snack. This was in Vancouver when I was shooting up there, and it was like ground up mushrooms and I think like some sort of stimulant like guarana or something in there.
Oh my God, I like this.
And then I also took ecstasy that night.
How long ago was this?
This was 2001.
Wow.
This was the night I had dinner with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
You never told me this story.
Yeah, I did. Let's go back to episode.
You never told me about being with Goldie Hawn on Guarana.
No, I did the drugs after they left.
So the story you told me so far is you hanging out with...
Hanging out the cast of the show I was on.
Oh, which was?
Let's not say.
Okay.
Because I don't want to implicate too many people.
Right.
And so we're in Vancouver. It's at the showrunner's rented penthouse in this sort of high rise in downtown Vancouver. Goldie and Kurt are in town because one of their kids is in the show, and so they're coming to visit him. And so we all have dinner, the cast and the showrunner, who was John Ricci. We can say the showrunner was John Ricci.
Oh, okay, cool.
So he puts on this, and it was Constance Zimmer too.
Why do I know that name?
Really great actress. She's in so many things, and I can't think of any of them right now. She was in Entourage as the showbiz exec.
Oh, okay, yes.
And she's really great, and she was great on that show. But that's besides the point.
I think I can find out the name of the show eventually.
Yeah, of course you can.
That's not the point, though.
No, I just don't want to, because I don't want to
who needs it?
But one of the cast members gave me these drugs, and it wasn't Goldie Hawn's kid. So Goldie and Kurt are there for dinner. Great dinner, really fun. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell are like both like you'd want Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell to be.
Entertaining.
You know? Entertaining. She's delightful and engaging. He's alpha male-ish and rugged, you know.
How would you compare hanging out with him to Don Johnson?
He was more accessible than Don Johnson.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Don Johnson was perfectly nice.
Yes, he was not inaccessible.
But because he was like...
He just knew he was Don Johnson.
He knew he was Don Johnson, and we were at the Peninsula Hotel for Don Johnson,
right,
you know,
right.
And they were doing all this for him, and it was this very sort of...
That's a beautiful hotel, isn't it?
It's a beautiful hotel. So beautiful that they were, you know, that I'm sure I told you this, that they actually put in the rider with me that you can't thank us in your credits.
Oh, now I do remember this.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all coming back to me.
Oh, yeah.
Or mostly.
So Kurt Russell more accessible, but also, you know, he was in a non-showbiz context. He was at a dinner party, you know. He wasn't being interviewed in front of lights and stuff.
Or interviewed by Byron Allen on the those tours he does.
So after they leave, I take the drugs. Rigi basically falls asleep because he's a showrunner. He's so fucking tired. And I'm starting to trip, and then the cast discovers like rough cuts of the show on videotapes in his place. So now Reggie's passed out, so they're like watching the show.
What do you mean? How do they find rough cuts of the?
Because it was in Reggie's apartment.
Oh,
And
okay.
we're up
So
there
they're
shooting
watching
the show, so they start watching
stuff
themselves.
that's not authorized to watch. Or
Yeah,
doesn't
they
matter?
weren't supposed to watch it yet. But the showrunners passed out, so what the hell? So and they're all watching themselves, and they're all kind of getting off on it. And I'm like, I really don't want to watch actors watching themselves. So
Oh, my God.
So I go up to the roof.
That was not entertaining?
It was not entertaining to me. I go up to the roof, and I have this really just like completely like euphoric, beautiful, like above a city kind of moment, just like alone above a city. There's music playing on the outdoor speakers, and I just had this beautiful, peaceful, like overseeing the planet kind of moment. And then the power went out.
Oh, man.
And so we go downstairs.
The power went out in the whole unit, right?
The whole unit, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't even know if it was it must have been the whole unit because we got down on elevators, but it must have been his unit. And so, like, we all left, and
It scared you, right?
It didn't scare me, but it sort of snapped me out of any kind of moment.
revelry.
So at that point, I'm now like, fully functional but high feeling and super thirsty because that's what the ecstasy does.
Yeah,
apparently.
it does. It makes you have to drink.
Really bothered me how thirsty I was.
Yeah.
And so at that point, like the actors all went back to one of their apartments to watch it, and I was like, just drop me at the hotel. I don't really want. And so I spent like the next 3 hours drinking water in my hotel room.
Yeah, because you can actually, I will admit now that I did take ecstasy, and I think I've talked about it before, right? I took it when it was legal. It was legal in Texas, and there was all these stories about how you lose your spinal fluid, and there were a lot of stories that were not true based on these one or two studies that were actually wrong, and they later admitted they were wrong. But it is true that you need to keep yourself hydrated, and that it can be pretty. People have died from not being hydrated.
Yeah, at raves especially, people.
Yeah, the raves. Yeah.
Oh, these kids with their raves.
Well, I have one more story to tell because it is an ecstasy story. I'm not going to give the names, but I was on the road, unless I've told the story before. I was on the road with these two comics. You know these two comics, too. And I was on ecstasy. They didn't know I was on ecstasy. And I go over.
I bet they did.
I go over to that, and we start laughing because we're all comics and we're laughing. And then I start just talking about how cool it is, their relationship, how wonderful it is. Because I'm all high on ecstasy. And they're like, they weren't going along. They were not selling me, what you think is not, we have trouble. But they were just basically, I remember being very high and hearing them answer in a way that made me feel like maybe they don't share my feelings about it. But it was so funny. I was so high. I was so positive about their relationship because of the ecstasy.
That was the other thing about watching actors on ecstasy watch themselves. It was like really just
oh my God, they really fell more in love with themselves.
And each other too. So yes.
Oh, why can't I have been that? What would I have done? Nothing.
You would have not, yeah. Stephen Elton Yates says, I think I remember seeing Andy on some MTV bumpers selling maps to Stars Home in 1987. Possible?
That's not completely accurate, but it certainly is close to what I did do, which was selling the maps to the Stars homes, not selling them, but promotions for Comedy Central. And I did like a series of like 7 or 8, I don't know, maybe 4 or 3 or 4 promotional things. They used to run.
But as if you were a maps guy hawking star maps.
It was more like I had the maps and I was just being weird. So I don't remember what I did exactly, but I don't think it was like me hawking them was the thing, but it was so much fun. And people to this day remember, like this gentleman does. I know him anyway. I don't know how. On Twitter?
Probably Twitter.
But that was before. That was when Comedy Central, before when they first started, they had a lot of those what they called image spots.
Right. That's like, and that was true of MTV too, with like Randy of the Redwoods and Jim Turner.
Comedy Central was owned by MTV.
It was
partially.
Right. Originally, they owned Ha.
Ha.
Ha!
That's not a good name, I decided.
No. It wasn't a good network either.
And I remember a guy's
Did you do anything on Ha?
No, but I did. The only thing I did the Higgins Boys and Gruber.
That was Comedy Channel.
When they were in Comedy Central, I did their show. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I had lunch with Gruber the other day.
How's he doing?
He's doing good.
In town?
He was in town, yeah.
Is he out of town now?
I think he went back. Yeah.
He's unbelievable. He disappears and then he appears.
He's like a specter.
Yeah. Phil Spector. No.
But
See, that's the kind of thing like before.
But he was telling me the story. Gruber has this very long white beard now and long white hair. And so
Is it ridiculously long?
It's very long. It's it's almost ZZ Top-ish beard, and but he plays piano for senior citizens and at a couple of care facilities. He actually goes and plays piano like every week. And so the other day, this woman who was suffering from some form of dementia comes up and grabs his beard in a death lock, like would not let go. Just like crazy deathlock, and the attendants are going, go with her hands, follow her hands, don't let her be, because she was going to pull out his fucking beard.
Oh, go with it. Yeah.
And so, but I said to him, I have to admit, Gruber, that with this look that you have, if I was insane, I might want to make sure you were real too.
Oh my God.
Because that is he's like a walking hallucination for the crazy.
And was he? What happened eventually?
Everything
was cool.
Yeah, it took a team.
he plays piano. He's self-taught in the piano, right?
I don't know if he is.
Oh, okay. I thought he was one of these guys.
He reads music, so I'm guessing that he had lessons at some point in his life. But he's played as long as I've known him.
When I've jammed with him, he seems to know everything. Like he just naturally has an ear for everything.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player.
I, of course, was a slow starter. That was the name of my band.
Marcus Kitts says, your podcast is amazing. More Marv Albert impressions, please. Yes, the backbiting! Which was his quote. But
Yes!
Yes!
Oh, because of the fighting?
Huh?
Not the fighting when he...
No, because I was taken down by the rich taste of backflesh.
Is this the affairs he had?
Yes!
So they claimed that
there were bite marks on her back, yes!
But they were consensual.
Who knows?
I love when your fallback position is, oh, yes, I did bite her numerous times, but it was consensual.
It was an unfortunate incident.
Not what he had in mind.
Top of the key. I don't know.
Swish.
Yes.
I think did he do also swish or yes?
Yes.
Yes.
That was great. Because a lot of people don't realize that there was a radio before there was TV.
No, a lot of people don't know that.
They don't know. I don't think they know it emotionally. That they don't know that we used to listen to basketball games on the radio. Oh, I guess they did. What am I even saying anything for? They listen to their USC games on the radio.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Bananas.
Joseph Willoughby wants to know our favorite flavor of seltzer water.
Well, the only seltzer water I like is the New York seltzer water.
Yeah, which is soda, basically.
Yeah, and I like all the flavors.
So no, not like LaCroix. You don't like that.
Is that seltzer?
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Okay.
But some people are telling me that like LaCroix, which I don't think is pronounced. I think it's
No, they pronounce it LaCroix. In French,
LaCroix.
it would be LaCroix, but because it's based in La Crosse off the St. Croix River, they're LaCroix.
Oh, okay. So, but people swear by it.
Yeah, well, it's a local Midwest initially, so it was around 30 years ago.
But do you drink it?
Yeah, I always did, but I drink plain.
I don't understand what do you mean? You drink? Why don't you get a bottle of water then?
What do you mean?
What are you drinking plain?
Sparkling water.
Oh, it's sparkling water. I keep forgetting it's sparkling. So it's like drinking seltzer water.
Yes.
I don't understand what this thing is. And people buy the soda. You probably have several of them.
What?
Soda makers.
I got one actually, but I don't make soda. I just make sparkling water.
That's the thing. Do you save thousands or you love the taste?
No, you know what it was? Is we were drinking like tons of Pellegrino and going through bottles and bottles.
And so did it work?
It works fine, yeah. I don't have bottles everywhere now, and I'm not like destroying the planet with just crap loads of landfill plastic.
I guess I have a problem with soda. I love it so much, and I can't. If I'm going to have something carbonated, I want there to be some flavor with it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it plain.
Yeah, because you're more
10 cents plain or 2 cents plain or
for
whatever.
2 cents, you're off the sugar too.
I am
general.
off the sugar, exactly. Justin E says more accents. Okay, moving on.
Bonjour, Georges Weinstein. Comment allez-vous?
That's Sacre Bleu.
Sacre Bleu. Have I done a German accent?
Dan Beaumarchais says, I'm curious what nicknames Josh and Andy have had in the past and why.
Well, I had Squeaky. I think I said that already.
I think so, yeah.
Nicknames for each other?
No, I think just nicknames that we've walked around with.
I used to call you Small Penis. Now, is that obnoxious or is that a legitimate attempt at entertainment?
I think it was a legitimate, obnoxious attempt at entertainment.
So maybe I can't separate.
Maybe you can't get me without the obnoxious, without the outrageous clown, Josh. I have to be a clown.
What was Dan Beaumarchais' question?
Nicknames? Squeaky.
What was yours?
I never had anyone that stuck for very long.
My nickname was my life was so boring.
I added Elvis to my own name.
That's true. My nickname for Josh was Josh. You laughed. Why did
It's like
you
an
laugh?
Al Gore joke. It's like,
Oh, okay. What did Al Gore do?
he would do jokes like that to loosen up the crowd.
He couldn't loosen up his own campaign, though.
I'm so boring, my Secret Service code name is Al Gore or something. Like
Oh,
that.
yeah. Okay. A lot of people still like
we actually touched on this. Stand with 2 N's. By Your Man says, has Andy ever had a Twitter fight with a Russian bot? Yes, of course he has.
Yes, of course I have. And did I talk about it on the air here about the one from? I actually think it was from. They were said greetings from St. Petersburg.
Really?
I'm beginning to think that Dave Anthony.
Yeah.
I think now he may have been a Russian bot this whole time.
Could be. Gigi Griffith wants to know what it was like to work on Dr. Katz.
It was the greatest. It was, and still the greatest because I still work with him. I've done audio versions of his show, and he's one of my heroes. I love him so much, and always doing the show was like it's the greatest, I think.
What were the sessions like?
Well, the first time we did the show, we went to Boston. And I stayed at the Charles Hotel, which is a very nice hotel in Harvard Square. And then we all went down. When they first did it, it was like in someone's like house, their closet. We did it, and then we would do things like all in Boston. And then later on, sometimes we would do it on our own by phone. But it was really great because you didn't really always know what would hit, kind of.
Yeah.
He didn't want you to necessarily talk about psychology things, so he didn't want it to be on the nose, kind of like neuroses.
Right.
But he got, I don't know, I'm not that articulate about it, but it was like fun.
All right.
Did you like that show?
Yeah, I didn't watch it
Yeah.
religiously, but I always thought it was funny.
Yeah. I miss that show. I miss my career. No, okay.
Alex wants to know what was the most difficult song Andy ever learned on guitar.
Well, it's not difficult, but I can play there's no difficult song I've learned on the guitar, because if it was that difficult, I wouldn't have figured out how to play it, and it's not going to be. I never was somebody who would play Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah.
I would say
Blackbird?
No, I say I don't do that one either. You do?
I can do Blackbird, but not.
I think my most fun song I've ever played was "Eyes of the World" by the Grateful Dead. I love that song because of the major sevenths.
Yeah.
And I love to play that song on electric because of all the different changes.
Gotcha.
But I want to put the proviso, if that's a word, that if it was too difficult, that's when I would start to call myself beyond fusion.
All right.
I couldn't do it.
But were you ever good? Like, were you ever solid guitar player?
Yeah, I think. Well, this gets back into the discussion from before about what made me.
But mostly
leave.
we've talked about your voice.
My voice. I think. I think, as someone who cannot be objective about anything that I do in that area because there's so much judgment attached to it, I think I was a really, really good rhythm guitar player. Really good.
Uh-huh.
And I think that I can play lead when I want to play lead. Like I like the way I play when I can play it, but I'm not comfortable enough to feel like I could just be a lead guitarist. Whereas I think I'm a solid rhythm guitarist.
Yeah. Playing like what? Like what?
Both acoustic and I don't do finger picking.
Yeah.
Pick guitar playing and just kind of good sense of rhythm, and I don't know. I can't even make any evaluations on this. If I refer to myself as a singer, songwriter, guitarist, I feel like an idiot. It all sounds like nonsense to me.
All right.
Oh, I was a singer, I was a good rhythm guitarist. So part of me feels like, who isn't? But then I really appreciated guitarists like Bob Weir. I love the Grateful Dead because I love the way they would play off of each other. And Bob Weir was amazing to listen. So I would have listened to. I would have liked to have felt like I was a Bob Weir type of player, you know. But he's better than me. But then, see, me saying he's better than me, that's the problem. Who cares? You didn't ask me, could you beat Bob Weir in a guitar contest? So it's just, I can't answer it. Except I feel like, here's what I do know. When I first started playing guitar, I put hours into it. And it was amazing. If I wanted to go further in the areas I was interested in, I would have had to have put more time than I was ever willing to put into it.
Right. Well, that's what makes the difference between a player and not, really.
Yeah.
You know, it's that desire to have it on your fucking lap for that many hours a day.
Well, also, if you're like someone like Greg Leese who plays pedal steel, I mean, there's people who are geniuses at what they do. And I think maybe that's interesting because I think one of the things that frustrated me was if I wanted to be a studio guitarist, I probably didn't have the chops or the concentration to have the chops. So I think a lot of how I felt was just like it was hard to be a guitar player at some point because everybody was.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't sound like you were going to be a studio guy.
No, but I did think about it because I went to Dick Grove Music Workshop in the Valley.
Yeah.
And took classes. That was like a version of, not like Berkeley School, but it was a local thing. So I thought about it. I did think about it. Right. It took me a couple of years to realize that not wanting to do it wasn't a defeat. What do you play? Bass too? Everything, right?
I play everything a little bit, but like, really.
I've always
I'm a passable bass player. I'm a okay strummy rhythm guitar player. You know, I'm sort of okay on piano with, you know, not much of a left hand.
I can play piano.
I'm a pretty darn good harmonica player, I would say. Like that's if I was to play with musicians, like real musicians,
that's what you would do.
That would be the one where I could feel competent standing my ground.
Yeah.
But I'm a passable, competent bass player.
I wanted to be a Bob Dylan style person. So I wanted to be someone who was known for writing the greatest songs of all time, for having a voice that I liked.
Karen,
don't waste your time on me. Karen, can't you see? You need somebody who will help you belong. You need somebody who will help you be strong. But Karen, that person isn't me. This is an actual song. There could be nothing more humiliating. There's nothing. Karen, don't wait. I'm telling this woman who's in pain to get away that I can't help her, but I think it's better because I'm writing a ballad about it.
But you sound like the great Gonzo when you sing it.
I sound like I'm writing to the woman who wrote at 17, explaining to her why I can't date her. I like your song at 17. I related to what you, but actually, I'm not the one to physically date you. I don't know. I'm embarrassed by many things of my first attempts at being a maestro or a
Yeah.
When I paint
Minstrel.
my masterpiece. Yeah. Karen. But you know what? I just realized something that's worse.
What?
For sure. For sure. How can for sure be a chorus?
It's not.
To any, it's not.
It's not.
So why did my sister, who I used to play with, say, we're not, she would go along with it and
Yeah.
try to make me think that for sure was a good song.
She was yes and yes and yes and
Yes, and Karen. Hey, Karen. I actually wrote a stage, like a Tommy version of that. Of
Karen, can you hear me?
I'm your wicked Aunt Karen. Those songs bothered me. Like I don't understand really, Tommy. There's a lot of things that I said that I did love that I never even listened to that much.
Yeah.
I would always go, oh yeah, I love Tommy. I don't know if I love Tommy.
Yeah.
How about you?
No, I don't love Tommy.
And the song about his wicked Uncle Ernie just makes it creepy to me. But then I did like the movie. Roger Daltrey. Is he in the movie?
Yeah.
It's like a god of some kind in that movie. I mean, I'm not saying I'm attracted to him. I'm just saying he was impressive. I was impressed by the movie, but I was also thought I should be impressed by the movie.
Yeah, I didn't like the movie that much.
But I do love some Who songs. Like, what's
Sure.
the one? A beach is a place where a man can feel. I love that song. And We Won't Get Fooled Again.
Right.
And you know what else? Other song I like? Okay. So you fooled me one more time. Okay. You know what? Maybe I will get fooled a couple of more times. I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation. Now, it wouldn't have been a hit if it was like that.
Probably not.
Hope I die before I get old. Here is the
So do I.
Here is the new boss. Same as the old guy. What's that song? The new boss the same as the old boss.
Yeah, that's Won't Get Fooled Again.
So you're saying if you had to say,
I'm saying you keep making references again about You Won't Get Fooled Again.
Okay, no, okay. But I want to ask you this though: if you had to make a judgment of the Who, what would your judgment be?
What would my judgment be?
Yeah, like, do you love them? I think I do love them.
Yeah. I don't love them, but I like them a lot.
Yeah. I
saw them do Quadrophenia once.
Is that a pretty good, solid album all the way through?
It's okay. It's another rock opera like Tommy. So it's, but I saw them perform it in sort of rock opera-y. This was like Entwistle's last tour.
Entwistle was the bass player?
Yeah.
Is he dead?
Yeah.
Who else is alive?
Pete and Roger.
Who I actually interviewed. Pete.
Townsend. All right. For Letterman, right?
Yeah.
At the Super Bowl or
At
something?
the Super Bowl, yeah. And then I followed him on Facebook, and then his management had to say, Andy, we just wanted to know that's not...
you're
you're
not
not
really
friends
talking
with
to Pete.
Peter Townsend. That's how stupid I was.
Hey, remember that time, Pete? Hey, Pete, remember that
Hey,
time?
Pete. Hey, Pete. Really like
remember
seeing
me?
you at the Super
Remember
Bowl.
That was fun that time, right?
The Super Bowl was good.
Remember me?
That's how stupid I was not that long ago. Oh, this guy's Pete Townsend. Why wouldn't he be?
You got fooled again.
I got fooled. I thought the guy who was the streak. They call him the Streak. Who's that guy?
He also did, what the fuck's his name? He did Ahab the Arab.
Ahab the Arab.
What the fuck's his name?
The Streak guy. Ray Stewart. Ray Davies. Ray.
Oh, God. It's so close. Oh, God.
This is the podcast.
Ray Parker. No. Ray.
And you know why I got fooled by it? Because he had the same name and his picture. So I assumed it had to be
Ray Stevens.
Ray
God
Stevens.
Damn it.
And you know what?
God
damn it.
Let's move on.
Hey, I think the question part of the show saved it.
I think, we're still in the midst of it.
I'm not saying because you hated the beginning so much.
I did. I really did.
Do you blame me for it? I mean, how long will you hold a
I
grudge?
don't blame you for it because it's, we have no format. Sometimes it's just not going to happen.
So, but you can conclude that in absence of a format, me just riffing about nothing is not great.
Nothing isn't the answer, I don't think.
Right.
I think we need to...
Or bringing things into the show like, oh, I didn't know that you had a Ming. Well, why would you?
Is that a blanket outside?
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah,
That was bad. In fact, that I think defines when it goes off the tracks. They can't see that.
No.
I don't even know what I'm trying to convey. Is that a reflection? No or yes is the answer.
Right. Lori43 wants to know, can we hear your Olympics commentary for your favorite event or curling?
Okay.
Well, curling is a big sport up here in Minnesota.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. We don't just make pillows up here. We send rocks down the ice. It's a major pastime here in Minnesota.
Yeah, but that's not the way they... well, how would you commentate for curling? Is that what they wanted to know?
Well, it would seem that he's rolled the rock.
Oh,
and there's some sweeping. Oh, they're sweeping and they're sweeping and they're sweeping and they're sweeping and they stopped.
Oh, wait a second.
Wait.
They're claiming the broom is not regulation.
And they're shooting another rock down there.
And now we go to the skis, the slow slopes.
I always thought if you're going to be on the ice, I always thought they should combine curling with ice fishing. Because at least then there's that hole to shoot for.
So in other words, it goes into a hole.
Right. And you go, it's gone.
Right.
Game over.
Or
Let's go inside.
Part of the fishing is you have to kill a fish
with the rock. There you go.
And that's where I said
the rock sinks. The fish floats up to the top of the hole. You grab it. You go have dinner.
Boom. I said it. Boom.
You did.
I am enjoying the Olympics, though, if that helps.
I'm not watching very much at all.
Well, I'm not watching very much, but what I do watch...
Yeah.
Here's the things I will not watch that you say you love. The dancing part, the dancing lady and men.
Uh-huh. On the ice or just dancing?
And on the ice for medals. Do you like that? Maybe it's not the singing. They don't sing. They just do the skating.
Well, you were making me like it more, actually.
Now, here's what I do like that you probably, because I'm an expert on things. I love short track.
Yeah.
Apollo Ono used to be on that sport.
Right.
Oh, God. It's the greatest sport. That's a sport I feel like, not that I would have been good at, but I can understand. Because you can just hang back into the last lap and knock everybody down.
Right. Yeah, no, it needs a little more contact. It needs a little more of a derby aspect to it.
Well, I guess I loved Apollo. I bought into the Apollo Ono thing when he was out there. I love that guy. That's how I actually do enjoy the Olympics. I tell myself I love this person.
Right.
Like
that's how they get you, is with their little
I fell in love with Bodie Miller.
Storylines.
Yes.
And then you go, oh, what a triumph of the human spirit.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but it does seem like they do not just make it U.S.-centric as much anymore. Like they seem to cover more of it, but I may be just wrong.
Yeah. The one thing I saw today was that the woman who was a free ski, she basically sort of got through a loophole and got on the Hungarian ski team for the freestyle.
What do you mean by loophole? She's not very good, or
no? She wasn't very good at all.
And
so she basically just when it was her turn to ski, she just basically went down the pipe and she went side to side, but she didn't do any tricks.
Oh my God! So she almost fooled herself into the.
She ended up 25th or something, but she went down. She did a run, made no falls. She did I literally could have done the run. Quite honestly, I could have done.
And you don't know how to ski.
I could not. I could have skied the run she skied.
Have you skied?
Yeah, I ski.
This is unbelievable. These two Jews, regular Jews, you pick them out of a lineup. Neither one of us, I think, people would expect could ski.
Jew from Minnesota? There's a chance.
That's true.
Yes.
Do you have strong enough ankles to skate?
I don't skate well now. But I ski.
Why is it that I can't skate? Is it just based on the strength of your ankles?
Probably.
Okay. So I'm not a klutz like I thought. I was when I put skates on the ice, I go, oh my God, how I can't stand up here long. My ankles are collapsing, let alone with a puck.
Right. Forget the puck.
So you played hockey then, right?
No, only as a little kid until I realized there was no hope for this.
Was skiing, I know it could be fun, but I was afraid it would be scary.
It's not scary.
It's not.
I mean, it can get scary if you put yourself
in
outside your abilities.
Double diamond or something.
Yeah, if you Inspector Clouseau your way onto a double diamond when you're not supposed to be there.
You know what I love about snowboarding and that thing is that they're all high. I think they're still high.
Yeah.
How can that ever be a good combination? I guess some people could focus when they're high.
Yeah, it's possible.
How about me
it's
when
possible to ski high, I assure you.
Oh, yeah, but you're having fun.
Yeah, no, I don't think any of the Olympic athletes.
I don't mean flipping around.
I don't think any of the Olympic athletes are doing it just because they get drug tested.
Oh, but I wonder if marijuana, they don't I guess they test for everything. Okay, forget it.
It's not a performance enhancer.
I'm looking for a sport that you can get into with pot.
At your level, I think that's wide open.
I want to win some senior something. Marathon. No.
Yeah. Taekwondo.
Isn't that... Ooh, I could be a senior Taekwondo person.
Yes. In fact, you could be no other kind of Taekwondo person.
You know, you're going to get to be my age one day.
Oh, I doubt it.
You will feel... Why was I so...
I doubt it. I have an MRI tomorrow. We'll find out.
Oh, is it tomorrow, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to call you, or call me, or let Mariano know how we're going to do it.
I'll let you know next week. We have a podcast. Homer Duo says, what was the end of Josh's Pamela Des Barres story? Or the end of any other Josh story?
She eventually talked, right?
Yeah, I think the story left off where she was reticent about... I got to her house to do this interview for the movie, and she was reticent about talking about anything personal.
Right.
And then...
or
and
talking about Michael.
She was, about Michael. And then so she left a message for Michael, saying, call me back and let me know
and he said,
what I can say. But in the meantime, he didn't call back, so we started the interview, and I had been buttering up for an hour, and basically just, starting off with what I knew, I was basically like...
What would be safe?
I was like letting her know that this is something that Michael told me he was a giant shithead to you, things like that. Yeah. So she would understand the tone of the piece I was doing,
Right.
And she was laughing, and we had a really good time. She was a fun conversation.
Very cool.
So it was about an hour in when he finally called back and said, "Yeah, say whatever you want."
Was she at the screening?
But
when
by that point, she already was saying whatever she wanted. So.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That was fun.
Mark Turetsky, would you consider "Come In, Mr. Weinstein" to be a bit, or has it become a kind of Kaufman-esque anti-bit?
It's a Well, it's an anti-bit, but it's not as good as an Andy Kaufman bit.
No, Andy Kaufman anti-bits were thought out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Whereas this is just a fucking cul-de-sac of comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't really have anywhere going. Most of our bits don't go much further.
Well, your bits.
No, really, I've noticed. according to the polls I've been taking.
Arthur Nitschke wants to know, Josh, have you ever narrated an audiobook or thought of narrating one? If so, I hope there's a baby in the story.
Wait, I mean, what kind of audiobook do you go into all kinds of sound effects like?
I think he was talking about my beautiful voice and how delightful it would be to listen to it for 7 to 8 hours.
Why all of a sudden do you have a different voice?
I don't. This is my voice.
I don't think it's true.
This is my voice.
65 degrees downtown Los Angeles. Coming up in a half hour, we'll be giving away some Aerosmith tickets.
Dude looks like a lady.
Dude looks like a lady. Come on down to TJ Cranberries. That's all material I got from Gruber.
Yeah.
With the Y95 funny van.
Tweet Bahar wants to know, could you guys discuss the epidemic of people overusing sort of? It drives me nuts. Also maybe I mean and so.
Well, sort of was something that bothered me for a long time because I felt it was intellectual people that sounded like they were, it sounded more sophisticated than but it's not. So when you hear it 40 times over, you might get annoyed. But now I feel differently about things because it's like...
Right, well, that's sort of annoying then, isn't it?
It's sort of annoying.
That's kind of how I hear it. It's very Britishy in my head.
Does it ever bother you when the people say sort of? It was sort of this. Any word you use too much, probably. But I don't want to be thinking about me going, uh-huh. I don't want any feedback.
You got it.
What was the other one? I mean? I don't know. I don't hear that one.
Yeah.
Too much.
No, I mean, is a lot of people, the use of I mean is weird for me when people start their first answer with it.
Or they start, the new thing is so. I've even gotten into so.
Yeah.
Like you're on a TV show and you're being interviewed. So tell me about your thing. So, it makes it as if you've already been talking about it.
Right.
And that also is weird.
But if you start with I mean, it's as if you're clarifying something that didn't exist.
That's true, yeah.
Mark Zyla just wanted to give a comment as to the best part of Andy Kindler's set in Dubuque, Iowa. Sound of chair being dragged across floor. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the kind of sounds you can only hear at an Andy Kindler show.
I remember that. Now, the only thing is, when I read that earlier tonight, I started to feel, I felt bad because I've done the line more than once. But it is an Andy, hey, who's...
It's only a hack Andy Kindler
It's
line.
a hack Andy.
It's not
it's
a hack line.
Right. It's like hey, who's moving a napkin back there? That's what the basis of the joke. Who's thinking too loudly internally back there? But that was I remember that moment in the Dubuque show. That's the casino.
Yeah.
I'm not adding or helping when I comment about the letters.
Yoshi Yamamoto wants to know, have either of you guys taken a THC break recently? Last month I stopped for a week after 3 years of continuous use and noticeably reset my tolerance. Highly recommended.
Well, I have gone through this before in my life where I haven't smoked for a while. Probably never longer than a month. But I haven't... usually what I say is I'll slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
I haven't gone on any long-term ones other than when I've been on the road. In China, I didn't, it was 12 or 13 days when I went to do that. But that was a couple of years ago.
China?
Yeah, remember I filmed a movie in China?
Oh, you didn't smoke there?
Right.
Oh, I got scared. I thought, is he saying you didn't?
There was weed in Hong Kong, but I didn't have any.
I wouldn't be so scared anywhere. If you found weed in Singapore,
you don't do it.
Yeah. Oh, I know a good guy.
But Hong Kong, they were fairly.
Hong Kong, I think,
there
is
was
loose.
Blue Dream around. That was what the comics were saying. That was the big strain at the time. Jalal Yakarini, 2 C's. Has Andy ever been caught masturbating? There's got to be a story there.
I've never been caught probably close. Yeah, I still love that scene in Fast Times where he's fantasizing about Phoebe Cates.
Yeah.
And then she comes into the bathroom when
doesn't anyone
knock anymore? I love that line so much. And he also, I remember another line. He goes, "I hope you really enjoyed that piss," he says to his friend.
As it gets fired.
I hope that was a hell of a piss.
Arnold. Did either of you, Randy Denton wants to know, did either of you work with Harris Whittles? I really enjoyed his comedy, and it was heartbreaking to hear his sister speak about him on Comedy Bang Bang today.
Oh, she did today? Oh, okay. Did you know him?
I didn't.
Yeah, I knew him, and I thought he was the greatest guy and just a wonderful guy and hilarious. Like, if you look back at his tweets, they're unbelievably great, and his jokes were unbelievably great. So it was really sad, although I didn't know him as well as other people did, but he couldn't have been a sweeter, more open guy, and what seemed like a happy guy. So that was, and I did hear him talk about on a Pete Holmes show and also on Marin about when he did get into liking heroin, or I think it was oxycodone. Yeah. So it was really interesting for him to talk about it, but then the whole thing became so sad when he passed, obviously. Really a funny guy. Too young.
I sounded sarcastic there, but he was too young.
No, I know what you're saying.
Kurt B says, I like Letterman's new show. Only improvement would be Andy pogoing in the background.
I haven't seen it yet. Have you?
Yeah, I saw them both so far.
Oh, and were they fun?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty straight ahead actual
interview.
Conversation.
How long are they?
They're like an hour-ish.
Oh, okay. And who's the second one?
George Clooney.
Oh, okay. Cool. And they're live, right?
Well, they're with they aren't live, but they're with
live in the studio audience or a theater.
Filmed in a theater, yeah.
I love that he's doing it, too. I'm behind on everything.
Tommy Barcanero wants to know, how do you guys typically wind down after recording the podcast? Does Andy stay at the house for a nightcap?
I do sometimes stay at the house, but I'm conscious afterwards. I don't have any social skills. I mean, I do have social skills, but I'm blind and deaf socially. So I have to tell myself, Andy, you have to get up and go back to your house because I'm afraid of spending too long. What's your take on the after podcast feel?
Yeah, you're here too long. I'm just kidding. No, I think usually that's when we smoke pot. There's not we don't drink the nightcap, but we smoke the nightcap.
I don't know. Did we ever talk about this? You don't drink either, or rarely?
I don't drink. I mean, the last doing the diet thing, I barely drink anymore.
Yeah,
but before that, I was never a regular drinker.
I wish I was.
I'm a good drinker.
You're a good drinker. You can drink a lot.
I can drink a lot.
Wow.
I can drink good liquor.
I can't drink a lot. I'm a wimp.
But I don't like being drunk all that much. So
no, I like 2 champagnes.
Yeah, that's your recipe?
If I share a bottle of champagne, I get a little frisky. Yeah.
Good note.
That's the first time I've ever said in my life I get a little frisky.
But the other thing that happens is we often have a conversation that far surpassed the quality of the conversation we just had on the podcast, which is a little frustrating sometimes.
Well, do you really feel that way a lot, or it's just sometimes?
No, just sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll like light up whatever, and then we'll have a really deep conversation.
Well, that's why I say you keep it rolling all the time, and then you just edit the whole thing, spend thousands of hours editing.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Well, it's always hard for me. I haven't been able to solve the podcast thing yet.
That's why they're test shows. Well, those are our questions. That's our show, I think.
I think so.
Please follow us on Twitter.
Please vote for who you prefer. Which person you prefer. Press 1 for Josh, 2 for Andy. Team Andy.
Yes, Team Andy.
Don't forget to I Need You to Kill.
Please go get my movie, I Need You to Kill, at iTunes or Amazon or Google Play, or catch it on your pay-per-view. Check out our Thought Spiral merch at Zazzle.com.
Yeah. Eat your heart out.
Thought_spiral.
I think Zazzle wrote to me or something, or responded to something.
Did they?
Maybe, I don't know.
That's Zazzle.com /thought_spiral.
Thank God we got the merch.
And go please rate us on iTunes and review us. And boy, that's all our requests, I think.
Don't forget to write us at Thought Spiral.
ThoughtSpiralShow@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We actually both returned emails this week. That was pretty good.
That was very cool of me.
MVP.
Oh boy, you know, I would pat myself on the back if it was easier.
If it wasn't for the bursitis.
I love that kind of comedy.
Yeah. Any kind of affliction is a
I was in had it in the Navy.
Right.
It was a rash.
Till my testicle exploded.
Right.
Right.
Until I never really understood what they meant when they said to your ball. But I don't understand. Where are your balls traveling to when you reach puberty? What exactly happens? What is dropping? Were they higher up in my body and then they dropped?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So they're just like...
They descend.
My testicles descend.
Yes.
So what was there before? What was I playing with before? How did I push myself as a young man?
That's the uncovered memory.
I just love the idea. I just love the idea that I would enjoy playing with my own balls. Please disregard this part of the podcast. The first couple of times when I did masturbate, I did say to myself, I could see how this is it.
Right. I don't see this getting old.
Yeah, or needing anybody else,
right.
Even necessarily. Well, I just want to say before we leave that Josh, he doesn't know, he never can say goodbye, I think is what it is. No. I've written a series of hilarious closers to the show.
Okay.
He won't listen to them.
You know what? I'm loosening that stance.
Okay. Hey. I got nothing. Well, I just admit that I have nothing.
'Cause
Well, it was a lot of fun, Josh.
I really enjoyed it myself, Andy.
Me too. And this does not sound at all artificial.
No, it's not forced at all.
This is the way the show should end.
I look forward to next week.
I can't. Hey, until next week, I hope all of your podcasts are on a device.
Nailed it.
That was a roller coaster show, wasn't it?
was.
What is this thing you have over there? The smokes.
It's joints.
Oh my God! You bought like a 6-pack?
Yeah.
They look great.